So basically, I'll just kind of jump into where the last video ended and kind of tell you what happened after that. I had come home that day and Brad and I found out that we had 2 eggs, and I was just really hoping that we would have had 4, and we had the 2. And the next morning, my mom came over early to help me do preschool drop off, and we had just driven away, and I had a phone call. It's my doctor, and he said, "Hello, Courtney," and I said, "It's not very good that you're calling me, is it?" Because the embryologist was supposed to call us that day. He very quickly told me that my eggs just were not good. They were not able to really do anything with him at all because my eggs themselves were so bad. And so he was very kind and very nice and very quick on the phone. So to call Brad and tell Brad that it didn't work at work, and it was heartbreaking to call him. And then I just came home and sat on the couch with my mom the whole day and cried so hard. And really that day, I kind of really had a choice to make, and that was going to be either go the road I've gone before, essentially, which is feel not adequate, feel not loved, feel not enough to God, feel not enough to my husband, feel not enough to myself that I cannot have this baby, or I could choose to see how God was going to walk with me on the hardest days of my life and seek him out in everything, and just so that I could feel him close. And that is what I've chosen to do. And God has provided for me in 100 different ways. And for that, I am so thankful. For example, I could have had children in my car when my doctor called me. I had no one but my mom in my car that day. The day that it happened, I have the best village. I have the best girlfriends in the world. I had honestly taken a break from going to church because sometimes it was too painful, and I started going to church again every Sunday. God has surrounded me with gentle love and care, and for that I am very grateful. This is the hardest walk I've ever been on. I can't believe I'm on it. I can't believe this is what Brad and I have to go through, but here we are. So I had an appointment in mid-November with our doctor. We did go and see him, and he was wonderful. It was very awkward when he first walked in, and he was like, "I don't want to be here," and I said, "I don't either." And he had given us some information about a donor egg and about embryo adoption, and when we left, I felt pretty good about donor egg, and I really felt like Brad and I were going to do that. For us, with our daughter, I think it was going to be around $19,000 for the egg donation process, and then on top of that, another $500 for our egg donors sedation for her retrieval, and then another, $3,000 to $5,000 for her medications. I mean, ours was way over $5,000 for my meds, and so I kind of in the back of my mind was thinking, how are we going to pay for all that, save up for all that, while I'm still going through intense pain every month? I have horrible endometriosis. I have for years. I am in horrific pain every month to the point where I have to take 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen every 3 to 4 hours. And I thought, I'm going to have to go through a ton more months like this before we can save up this kind of money. So Brad and I kind of like to break things down and just do one thing at a time. We wanted to get through the IVF. We did that. And the next thing we had to go through was our baby went home. I was terrified of that day because not to send him home. His mama has worked very, very hard to get him home. Not terrified with her at all. I'm thrilled for her. I was just so sad that we had gone through the IVF, it didn't work, and then we were going to have to send our baby home because we love that child so much. And so God was everything to me during that process. He gave me we went to court. I feel like I can say that. We went to court not thinking he was going to go home that day. Possibly, maybe, but more likely not for another month and a half. We thought, honestly, he'd still be here right now. So to go to court that day and find out that the child was going to be going home was a wonderful blessing for Mom. She has worked so hard, and we are so, so, so proud of her. But just sad for us. And God has given me such a peace that has surpassed all of everything, honestly. So for that, I am quite thankful. We still get to see all the time, and it's just really been okay. And so Brad and I had decided once that happened, I had made an OBGYN appointment. I had made an appointment with my gynecologist. Brad and I had said we were going to sit down and talk about what we wanted to do. And so I had asked Brad what he wanted to do without me saying first, because I didn't want to persuade him either way. And Brad said that he wanted to be done. And I said that I wanted to be done too. So we are not going to be doing the egg donor, and we're not going to be doing embryo adoption. For us, it just does not make sense. I feel like, I know for some people it works the first time, and I think that's a miracle and it's amazing. But just on different Facebook groups that I've been on, it seems like a lot of times that it's still not a guarantee. If it was a guarantee, then I would put my body through it again, and I would save up the money and I would do it. But it's just not a guarantee that first time that it'll work. And so I am so thankful that Brad and I felt the same, that I didn't feel one way and he didn't feel another. So when we decided that we were going to be done, I had a gynecologist appointment like maybe 2 weeks after that. So now we're back. Now we're into like January. So we got through the holidays. I've decided this year is my year of grace, and if I can't go to things, I do not go. If I can't go to a baby shower, if I can't go to a family function, if I think I can go and then the last minute I can't, like, I'm giving myself a full year of grace too. This is the worst news I could have ever received in my life. I have, when I was a little girl, carried baby dolls around every day. I had huge diaper bags and clip-on earrings and red sunglasses I would pop the lenses out of. I have always wanted to be pregnant. I have always wanted to experience that, and I can't believe I'm not going to with the person that I've loved for 19 years. So it's really sad to me. Another thing I wanted to kind of touch on before I wrap up of where we're at right now is just Brad. A trait that I love about my husband is he is super, super sensitive, and I love that about him. Always, we have been able to talk about everything, and I'm only sharing this. I am not sharing this to throw him under the bus at all, but I am in touch with a lot of moms who have had their babies die or who are going through infertility, and many lately have reached out to me and said, my husband and I are grieving so differently. Is that normal? And I have taught my moms in the NICU for so long that men and women just grieve differently. And the day that we found out, literally when we were on the phone, Brad said, you did such a great job. I'm so proud of you, but I just want you to know if you want to talk to me about this, you can, but I'm not going to be able to talk to you. And I honestly couldn't believe it. It's still like sad to me. Because I thought that we were going to sit on the couch together and we were just going to cry and grieve this together, and that has not been the case for Brad and I. And so I just want to say that. So if you're watching and you're going through infertility, or I've had a couple people that have watched my videos that have had a loss, that it's okay if you grieve differently than your husband. One thing I will not let infertility take away from me is my marriage. I will not let that happen, and neither will Brad. We are good. We are fine. And I have sought out other avenues of people to grieve with me, which for me is my mom, my girlfriends, and they have both provided what I've needed, and Brad supports me in other ways, like 100 different things. And so I think too, as it has gotten a little bit farther away from November, he has been a little bit more open to just being sensitive to me, which he's always very sensitive to me, but you know, it's just not something that he can talk about. And that just has to be okay, because I know that Brad's heart was just as broken as mine. I know that he wanted this baby just as much as I did. So, even if he can't talk about it, it's really okay. And I really mean that. But I'm just only saying this because if you're kind of wondering, is it okay that my husband and I are grieving differently? It completely is. And your marriage can still be really, really good, because ours honestly still is. And for that, I am so thankful, because I know a lot of people grieve differently and their marriages aren't okay. So when Brad and I decided that we wanted to be done, I went to the gynecologist a couple weeks ago, and I am actually going to have a hysterectomy, and I'm having it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so I'm filming this night before my surgery, and I am proud of myself for making this decision. And it's not, I know it's a choice that I'm making, but it's not a choice that I ever wanted to have to make. It is the right one, so that I won't be in pain anymore. But it is still just so sad, so I don't really know how tomorrow's gonna go. I've kind of seen online a lot of people say it's pure exhaustion for several weeks, so I'm devastated that there's no chance a miracle's gonna happen now. But Brad and I feel like I cannot continue on in pain like this anymore. So I am taking my health into my own hands. My word this year is healing, and I'm gonna try and heal my body. That's kind of where we're at. And where we're going, I don't know. Brad and I kind of like to do one thing at a time. We're definitely open to adoption. I think we're going to just kind of heal my body for a little bit, but we are totally open to adoption. If you're pregnant and you're looking for a family for your baby, or if you know someone that is, we would, love to get connected, but I think we're just kind of starting that process. I might film a little bit tomorrow on my hysterectomy, and I don't know if people are interested in that. I have no idea, so I might just film a little bit for myself, and maybe do a video about that. Or if we do start the adoption process, I might do some videos on that too. But as for infertility, our journey is done. It's been a long 7.5 years. That's Brad's grandpa's clock. Sorry. We love it. It makes Brad remember his grandpa, and it makes my house feel cozy, I think. So sorry about that, but it makes us think of his grandpa. But I don't know. I just want to say thank you so much for praying for those 2 eggs, for trying to get us to the number we needed, for praying every day, asking how it was going, for my friends at work, for my girls in real life. Like, I could not have gotten through this without you guys, and I know that you know that, and I just really mean that. I could not have done this without you. Actually, I couldn't have done this without you for 7.5 years. Every single phone call, just everything. I love you so much. And my girlfriends at work that donated money to us, that have reached out and not said nothing but been brave and given me a hug and said, I'm so sorry. It just teaches me, always reach out. Always, even if it feels uncomfortable, reach out. It means the world to people. After our IVF didn't work, people on YouTube messaged me. So many people. I got Facebook messages from tons of people that I haven't talked to in a long time, and it was so kind and so helpful. And so if you ever wonder, I don't know if I should say anything, I don't want to upset them, no, always reach out. It's honestly more hurtful, I think, to people if you don't. And so always do that. It's always good to do. If you've talked in a while, if you haven't, if you think, I don't know what they'll say, always reach out. If you're thinking maybe I should, you should, for sure. So for us, through Clomid and Femera and the IUIs and the IVF and the surgeries and trying on our own in between for months on end, and looking at sticks and ovulation sticks and testing and everything, and I could not have gotten through this without my husband. I mean, we have maintained our marriage. We're still rock steady. We still have fun together. I'm so thankful for him. I am so thankful for you guys, and thank you for following along on our journey. I don't know what will happen next, so.
Sorry.
All right, you guys. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much for everything.